Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the BrewSpytheMagicGuy show. I'm your host, Sean. I'm experiencing some interesting, I don't want to say difficulties, I'm not sure just yet, but it looks like we're having trouble logging into Magic the Gathering Online. Not sure exactly what's causing that. Usually I'll check on that kind of stuff to see if Moto's down prior to the stream. Um, I will admit we've been having some network difficulties with just our internet in general. I'm not sure exactly why that is either, but thankfully I'll be moving soon. So hopefully that won't be an issue for the stream in the foreseeable future. We'll see if we can get in there. If not, there's some alternatives. There are some other games that we could possibly play. But yeah, the decks I wanted to show you today. I wanted to show you either, this is my take on a modern lands list. There was a red-green lands that Marcos had some, I don't even know if he had success with it, to be honest. I remember picking up the list. I saw a red-green version on Goldfish, and I thought, what would this deck look like if it had another? As far as like the way the deck works, it's actually built around Flame Jab. So I thought it might be interesting to build the deck also around Raven's Crime, because that's another 1 mana retrace spell. Because obviously there's some matchups where the Flame Jab is laughable; it does very little or nothing. Whereas at least Raven's Crime would be relevant. And then of course it's a Life from the Loam deck. You've also got your Seismic Assaults. So that's kind of like what the deck's built around, more or less. It's also a Burning Vengeance deck. So when you're actually, flashing back Faithless Lootings, or you're retracing these spells, you're going to get that extra damage. And what's interesting enough, it's a Flame of Keld deck, because it kind of operates, it's late game. Once you've gotten some of these enchantments into play, it just kind of operates off of the graveyard, more or less, and just the Life from the Loams. Fascinating deck. I also noticed that when the deck was played, that the deck really struggled with Burn and some other hyper-aggressive decks, so I went ahead and slapped some Collective Brutalities in there. Other than that, you can see the sideboard is just trying to have alternate win conditions. It's also got just a myriad of answers, Grave Hate, and then, of course, Graveyard Protection, because it is a graveyard-based deck. Maybe it should run even more than this, because there's quite a bit of Surgical running around. But I didn't want to just do like a deck tech. I wanted to, there we go, we're finally logging in. It might just be that the internet, like I said earlier, is just too... what's the word I'm looking for? It's been really sporadic lately. It has been not good, to say the least, recently. And I don't know why that is, to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure why the internet's been worse. I hope we're not getting throttled. I mean, I'm trying to think of why my internet quality would go down so significantly between today and the last time that I streamed with you guys. I'm not altogether sure. Now, the other deck I was going to show you guys, if we can actually log in here, was roughly based on Canister's slot machine. So, for example, I can just pull the list up off of... interestingly enough, the... how does bandwidth even work? What's up, Landshark? What's interesting is tonight, I don't know why, but my chat room isn't working either. So there's lots of little suspicious things going on. Like, I see your chat, but for some reason, my chat in the actual stream, normally you guys know it's below, isn't working. So I don't know exactly why I'm having some of these weird technical difficulties, but I'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, let me pull up the list. If we can't even get into Moto, I can't show these decks to you guys in the way that I wanted to. But I was gonna have you guys vote for either to see Slot Machine or to see Modern Lands. Also tonight, maybe we're gonna talk a little bit about who looks like they're potentially winning the contest. For those of you that don't know, we were having a BrewOff contest. If you were to win said contest, you would get a card hoarder code from yours truly. I would just give it to your Twitch name. We would just friend on here, and I'd whisper you. the code, and then you get access to similar privileges that I have access to with Card Hoarder, which is pretty sweet. I can play a lot of different decks on only 500 tickets. Heck, I've even played some vintage decks with that much money, or legacy for that matter. How's it going, Nick? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet though tonight. Like, I'm seeing little things, weird things like alerts from my Streamlabs. I'm also seeing like my Magic Online is just not loading. So I think I am getting throttled. I mean, I'm technically we're with Comcast, so there's our first problem. The other deck, of course, was the Modern Lands, which is like a Seismic Assault deck. I think this actually is really cool. I wouldn't say that it's good, but I do think it's really cool. And there's actually some kills, at least from what I saw, what the deck was capable of doing. I pulled this from Marcos. This was featured on Goldfish at some point. But basically, I added a Black Splash because it gives you another retrace spell and shores up some of the weaknesses I saw the deck having. Like, the deck seemed just unwinnable against Burn. Or that seemed almost unwinnable. So I added some brutalities to the main board to kind of shore up that really bad matchup. And black also gives us more retrace spells. We're not just a flame jab deck. You also get Raven's Crime. And then the black, of course, gives us some answers like Pulse and Trophy. We get to play Ley Lines. You could play a Calidus. So that's what the benefit of the Black Splash I see in this deck potentially. Obviously, it's really greedy because it's a triple red deck with the Seismic Assaults, but between Desperate Ritual and I'm playing a couple of red filters, hopefully that'll help a little bit. Not very many exclusively... Actually, I probably shouldn't be playing those fields. It's another thing to think about. Anyway, back to the other deck. So this was Slot Machine. You saw a few players trying to bust Semblance Anvil after they banned KCI. As you can see, despite Crooklyn Ironworks being banned, this kind of all-in eggs style of artifacts deck still potentially works. This is my take on the deck. I'm also playing Cloud Key, which Canister and some others weren't playing, but I think has merit. For those of you who don't know Cloud Key, are we finally loaded yet? Yeah, right? I think we are getting throttled. I can't explain it any other way. My internet hasn't been this bad since I moved in and I got the high-speed internet. I just don't understand it. I just do not understand. What's up, Puddin'? Yeah, I just don't know. Like, dropping frames and this and that, like, these are all errors I've not had on the internet here before. So I don't know if it's something that my roommate's doing. He's not even here at the moment. I don't know if he's, like, torrenting or something in there. I don't know. I mean, I haven't changed my internet usage at all. I've always just streamed or done nothing, more or less. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I can't even get Moto to finish loading. Yeah, well, I'm moving at the beginning of next month, so hopefully that'll fix things. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It's a little frustrating because I had a couple decks. I already got all the cards too. I had a couple of decks I want to share with you guys. Like I said, these two. One of which is kind of a combo deck, and the other's like this weird lands thing. If anything, this should be a split of Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin, probably. The problem with Ghost Quarter being it won't be able to turn itself into a mountain for the Seismic Assault. At least Field of Ruin can do that. So that's kind of my thought process there. But I was excited to show you both decks, actually. It's kind of sad. But I think this deck's powerful too. So, I mean, what's going on here is it's a Grinding Station deck. So, Grinding Station, for those of you who don't know, 2 mana. You can tap it to sacrifice an artifact to mill the top 2 cards of a target player's library. So, you can mill yourself to find pieces of the combo, in this case, Mirror Retriever, or you can mill the opponent to win the game. So, at first, when the deck is going off, you actually mill yourself a bunch until you find another Mirror Retriever, and hopefully you have a Mirror Retriever in your hand, or you have a Mirror Retriever in play whilst you go off, and you grind until you find another one, and then you play the one that was in your hand or is in play. You sacrifice it with the grinding station, go get the other mirror retriever back and forth and back and forth. I saw him testing some weird stuff like Thopter Sword combo. I don't know if I'm into that. For me, I really like the idea of just streamlining what the deck's already doing, which is the grinding station kill game one. Post board, you might have a couple other win conditions, like we can bring in Tezzeret and Antiquities War, or Karn. We also have a Psy Master Thopterist. And then, of course, my build using Cloud Key is a little bit different. You just want to know how to beat it. So it's graveyard based. Surgical will work. You basically, if you can break up, if you Stony Silence it, or you break up the mirror retriever loop, then you're good to go. It's as simple as that. You just break that up and you win. So I'm going to give you guys another moment to vote for which deck we're going to play. So your choices are Modern Lands, or we could do... Let me do another poll. So your choices are Slot Machine or Lands. So slot and lands. So real quick, let's go over the lands deck to give it a fighting chance, because I know everybody wants to see the new KCI or whatever it might be. So this is my take on the lands deck. Obviously, it didn't have Light Up the Stage when it was originally built, and I added a Black Splash for Raven's Crime. This gives the deck another retrace spell to kind of go off with. The deck, thanks to Flame of Keld, actually will kill in one turn, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. As long as you're making land drops, which the deck should, because it is playing 24 lands with some lootings. So hopefully it's going to get there. So don't give both decks a chance. Give both decks some little bit of screen time. I'm just fixing the lands here. So and then of course the other deck is just artifact combo, and you mill the opponent. The only reason I think it's running the Pyrite Spellbomb is not for like removal. I mean, obviously you have a main deck explosives and Pirate Spellbomb, but I think the reason it's got the Spellbomb is just in case they have like an Emrakul, some kind of thing that prevents them from milling out. What's funny is there's also the that deck we really enjoyed last week, the Teachings deck. Interestingly enough, about the Teachings deck, it technically can't be milled out because it's got Nexus of Fate in it, usually. Anyway, so that's the Modern Lands deck, and then Slot Machine I also built. So Slot Machine, if I can find it. It's okay if we have to rebuild it. It's just a little frustrating because my Moto doesn't always save what I'm working on. Does not look like it saved it. That's okay, we can rebuild it. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, I think they both have teeth. Obviously, the Slot Machine is more tested, I would say. What did I do with it? Maybe I called it something else. I think they both are interesting. The deck name comes to us from Canister MTG, for those of you that know him. And we'll go with a Tezzeret box. Oh man, I don't know why I'm coughing so much tonight. Apologize. Sorry, guys. You guys got 2 minutes left, so what's it going to be? Lands, or is it going to be Slot Machine? But yeah, so I think Cloud Key is interesting. Not something that... There are other artifact cost reducers that exist. The benefit of Cloud Key being that it's not a creature, so it's not easily removed. And you still see like things like Scrap Trawler and these shells. I think that the Thopter Sword... I'm not trying to say that this build's better. This is just my take on the deck. I did see... And also you can see that I'm main decking some Tormod's Crypt, a couple of Tormod's Crypt. And then, of course, the rest of these are sideboard cards. The Spell Skites. Where are the Spell Skites? Those should be in the sideboard. Okay, so. You guys should be able to make your decision off of that, though. Like, one's a lands deck, one's an artifact combo deck. There's... oh, excuse me. Not much else to talk about. Tezzeret. And I think I had a sideboard's fixed. What was in the main deck? See if I can remember. Stars, Terrarians, Wellsprings, Retrievers, Grind Stations, Anvils, Keys, Trawlers, Sigh. Maybe it was a land? I know it had 2 more lands than this. I know I was going to play at least 1 island. Oh, I think it was like an Academy Ruin. 2 for lands, 1 for Slot Machine. Okay. I know you wanted to see... oh, excuse me, Slot Machine. So let me at least finish building the deck so you can see it, Nick. I know you wanted to see Slot Machine. I think I had an Academy Ruins. But how are you guys doing? I know it's Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. I hope you guys had some fun. Did anybody do any modern events or anything? Spire of Industry looks to be missing. Huh. I'm only playing 3? Seems weird, but okay. I'm into it. Maybe that's fine. It's worse than Glimmer Void. It's awkward to have double Inventor's Fair, but I understand why it has it. What are the other 4 cards? Oh yeah, Ancient Stirrings. That's what it is. It is a Stirrings deck, because I mean Stirrings is nuts in these kinds of decks. You just get to see so many cards. Anyway, so that's the Slot Machine. Let me put it in the chat for you, Nick. So just in case you wanted to play it, you have a list to work with. And again, this is my take on the list. I'm not trying to say that it's better because I don't know. I haven't tested it to actually quantify if it were to be better. I'm running a lot less Psy than a lot of these other people. Just because, I mean, like, Psy is Psy, but it's, you know, it's just... It is what it is. I mean, it's just a... oh, wrong button. Wrong lever, crunk. It's vulnerable, in my opinion. That's my problem with Psy. Is how vulnerable that it is. But anyway, we'll play the Modern Lands deck. Just because, I mean, I'm also excited about that deck. I'm worried that the colors won't come together necessarily. That's my only worry with the with that deck. Oops. There you go. That's really my only concern with the Modern Lands deck. But I think it'll be fun. Maybe a little bit matchup dependent how well we do. But we'll just throw it into a friendly because I have enough points for that. But yeah, I wanted to touch base with you guys and see who hasn't signed up for the BrewOff yet. It's a free contest. There's no reason you shouldn't do it. Just put a list in there. I'm grading based on overall creativity, spice, and competitive nature. So those are kind of the three factors for grading. The command is BrewOff. It's not hard to do. You post a list you've been fiddling around with. Doesn't necessarily need to be completely original, though. Those, that will certainly grant points. I mean, you get 0 points if you don't participate. It would take you a matter of minutes to grab a list and put it up on the channel's Facebook or Twitter page. If you're too shy to put it up there, I mean, maybe we could have you put it up on Discord. I mean, at this point, I just want to see more people participate. Here's our social media for the channel. There's the Twitter and the Facebook, so you guys have all the tools necessary to participate. I've seen a few lists submitted, which is exciting for me to kind of go through them, and we'll talk about them tomorrow on the stream. I'll pronounce some winners. I mean, who wouldn't want a free card hoarder account? I can't imagine a reason to not want that. This hand looks fine to me. It has both types of retrace. It's got looting so we can see some more cards. It's just missing black, but that's to be expected because black's kind of the splash. There's a Burning Vengeance. So we know we're dumping this looting. I mean this Life from the Loam. The old nothing into nothing. Alright then. So we can just freely dump cards like Life from the Loam and, well, honestly, I would probably dump both of these first. Unless we think our opponent wouldn't want to be Raven's Crimed here. There's also Molten Vortex to just get into play. Some decisions to be made here. I'm not sure exactly what I want to dump into the graveyard, actually. Really, the only things I want to keep in my hand are the Vengeance and the Vortex. Pretty much anything else could be discarded, theoretically, here. Guess I'll pitch Jab, and I'll pitch Life from the Loam. Hey, what's up, Jade? Okay, Jade. Good to see you. Yeah, my chat's not working tonight, Jade, so I hope you understand. Vortex, we'll say go. Opponent could be on like Banned Spirits, I don't know. This card seems pretty good if they're Banned Spirits. Little baby Vortex. What was my build? I think it was just one Vortex. Yeah, no, 2 Vortexes, 4 Seismic. Because the deck really wants to see this effect to the point where it's even going to run the weaker. Vortex, of course, much weaker than Seismic, but it's easier on the mana is another reason why I want to have a few copies in this build. Just want to make sure that we always have that. Okay, so he is on the... Well, he could be a bunch of different things now. Yeah, he could be some variant of Shift, or he could be the he could be Shift. He could be the Reclamation deck. I mean, I feel like if he was playing the Teachings deck, he would have already slammed the enchantment. That's what makes that deck so powerful. It's just like it just tries to survive to turn 4, and then you slam the enchantment, and the rest of the game you just have a ton of mana to work with. Opponent considering doing something here. I'll probably just Faithless Looting after this. Yeah, he looks to be Bring to Light. Like a Bring to Shift. So let's dump the one of these and I mean, technically I could dump the Raven's Crime. We could even just start loaming next turn. Which is probably correct. No, I still kind of wish I kept the land there, because second Black Source lets me cast the other Brutality. I don't know if I like what I just did there. I think there's a lot of reason to let the Raven's Crime go. It's one thing to make them discard some cards. It's another thing to actually grab the Bring to Light or the Escape Shift out of their hand. You know what I'm saying, chat? I think that's a lot better. Yeah, I'm not altogether sure, guys, why the chat's not working tonight. I'll have to fiddle with it after stream. Snap Remand. Snap Spiral. Well, what if this is like Snap Spiral into Remand? That would be gross. That would be really gross. Two, three, four, five, six, 7. Alright, so the hand was Bolt and a Jace. So if we can beat this Snapcaster, this Jace, and this Bolt, and fade a little bit off the top, we can get there. Like, the thing is, I don't really want to be dredging Life from Loam, because we're still missing, like, ideally instead of Vortex we have, like, the things that we would really want to see off the top for the deck is Flame of Keld and a Seismic. That's what we really want to see. Now, if I play the Burning Vengeance, or no, we don't want a Vengeance this turn. Like, I think we just want to Molten Vortex Jace twice, maybe Flame Jab the Snapcaster, cancel. Desperate Writ. I mean, this kind of lets me do all the things. Drawing the Ritual there. So we'll Burning Vengeance the Jace. We're going to Flame Jab the Snapcaster Mage. And then I get to... Flame Jab the Jace. Burning Vengeance face. I mean, obviously, just like any other discard deck. I can't stop the opponent from top decking another whammy spell. We just kind of have to hope to kill him before that happens. Now, again, every turn that I don't just loam, like the only reason to not loam would be I'm hoping to find exactly Flame of Keld. I think we should just be loaming. I should have gotten Wooded Foothills. What am I doing? That was bad. That was really bad because I really wanted to do some extra red things. Yeah, because each of these is a lightning bolt for us. Minus the swamp, obviously. Let's not forget about the brutality to potentially finish them off. I definitely meant to grab. We have another mountain. I definitely meant to grab Wooded Foothills. Oh, am I just dead? Seems like they drew what they needed. Yep. I do like me some Bring to Light, by the way. I'm into it. So we are toast. I don't even know if we really have the tools to beat this kind of a deck post board. Again, you really like being this kind of deck against like your, black disruption types of decks, just because, I really don't have anything I can do should they top deck the Scape Shift. There's really nothing I can do, is what I mean to say. Yeah, we are indeed very, very toast. We are quite toast. We got them low. I mean, like I said, like if we're gonna play a deck like this, it is gonna be matchup dependent. I think that this draw would have been like pretty nuts against like humans or something. Like we had Vortex. We were doing the things. I mean, now he's gonna bring in like surgicals and stuff. I have no idea. I don't really know exactly what kind of graveyard hate our opponent's gonna have. What do you guys think he's going to be on? I mean, like, trophy hits of Valakut. That's minimal, I imagine. Flame Jab is weak in this matchup. Like, we don't necessarily need the playset. I think Flame Jab's going to be weak in any matchup where they just don't have creatures to ping with it. Because we can trigger Burning Vengeance with Raven's Crime, I mean, they had Snapcaster Mages. Silent Gravestone doesn't just protect us, it also turns off Snapcaster Mage, which is kind of funny when you think about it. It's any... Yeah, cards in graveyards can't be the targets. So that includes Snapcaster Mage's ability. So that's kind of funny. So this would turn off if they have Surgical, and it would also turn off Snapcaster Mage. I think this is kind of a cool swap. Like, swap those in for these. I don't think we can afford to board much more differently than this. I mean, like, the Desperate's really just here to be another red fixer for Seismic, because you can tap the Forest, or you can tap the, like, a Field of Ruin, or the Swamp for the colorless part of Desperate Writ, and then it gives you 3 reds, so that'll filter into the Seismic. We've also got Graven's Cairns and Firelit Thicket. So these are all trying to help support the Seismic despite the Black Splash, basically. I think we'll run it like that. I really don't want to overboard in a deck like this because we have so many intricate pieces, right? I mean, I also could have just been flashing back those lootings. I mean, maybe I should have, because like maybe the only way we were going to race them is if we found a Flame of Keld. Because really that's what this deck really wants to do, is you want to be doing all the pinging that you're doing on the turn that Flame of Keld goes off, because it's that much damage +2. So as you're flame jabbing and you're burning vengeancing, it gets, extra triggers. I mean, for that regard, maybe I shouldn't get rid of all of the flame jabs as I have. Like, maybe it should be more like this 2-2 split. I don't know. I just imagine that Raven's Crime would be good in a matchup like this, though. Just because they need a density of cards. Like, they need their combo piece, and they also need to make all those land drops. So maybe that's wrong. Yeah, there's Flame of Keld. We got Firelit, so as long as I don't get a basic swamp, we'll be able to Seismic. So no, this hand looks good. Obviously, we don't want to Flame of Keld until we have, some of these other enchantments in play. That's kind of the kicker, is you obviously you don't want to Flame of Keld until we're in like we are just doing we're at the Life from the Loam stage of the deck. Like, obviously I'm not going to slam Flame of Keld here, but yeah, we have to wait until we're at the deck's late game, basically. Oh yeah, Puddin' Stars? Sounds good, Jade. Yeah, I'm having some weird internet stuff going on tonight, Jade. And for some reason, the chat, you guys, I see you guys talking to me. Chat's just not showing up on the side of the stream tonight for some reason. In fact, a lot of the little thingies that normally are working are not working. Like, there's like other things that should be on the screen that just didn't populate. So, double Searcher tomorrow is going to be pretty explosive for them. We're probably just slamming Burning Vengeance. I mean, we could play Seismic. There's a Light Up the Stage. See, now I'm tempted to play Seismic because we just do Light Up the Stage. Yeah, I'm tempted to. So we're gonna use the Seismic Assault to spectacle the Light Up the Stage is my plan. I mean, the deck has lots of efficient ways to deal a little bit of damage to the face, so I thought the Light Up the Stages would be kind of tech that wasn't in the original build. I thought that might be kind of neat. Oh yeah, Jade, none of those types of games. I hear you. Although we didn't see any, which is not good. So we'll Spectacle. So we found ourselves another land drop, which is good. And let's Vengeance. So what are we looking for? We're looking for, I mean, now I might be comfortable. Like, what we could do, it's kind of neat about the Flame of Keld ending up in the Spectacle Light Up the Stage, is that this is not in my hand, therefore it's not vulnerable to me casting the Flame of Keld in my hand. I could Flame of Keld, dump our hand, Flame of Keld again, which is kind of neat next turn. Obviously we might just be dead because I didn't disrupt them at all, but you know. That's too bad. But yeah, like next turn, had we not been in this particular matchup, we would have been Flame of Kelding. We would have Flame of Kelded from our hand, and then we would have gotten to cast the Flame of Keld that's exiled. That's really neat. All the submissions haven't been. I'm not sure. I feel like a lot of people that could have submitted didn't, so I'm trying to. That was one of the reasons I wanted to stream before I do the final selection tomorrow, Jade, is I was hoping that more people would participate. Our next draw was going to be a Brutality. All right, that's what we needed. That's okay. I mean, I kept an opening hand that didn't have any disruptions, so my bad. We'll play another round. But yeah, so that's I actually think the light up the stage is kind of neat for this deck, especially because like when I flame a Keld, like this kind of protects some of the cards. Yeah, no worries, Jade. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I don't think that everybody has turned in their deck yet. Is what I'm saying. Anybody here not turned in their deck yet? Anybody? Because I mean, it's a free contest. You might as well do it. I had a few people say that the only reason they'd ever play Moto is if they ended up getting a code like that. You know, it's a privilege. It's been awesome having Card Hoarder backing my stream has been awesome. But you guys get to enjoy a similar privilege if you just sign up for that. The sand is a little bit sketchy again, like Triple Vengeance. This card seems so heavy in the deck, but technically it has some of the pieces we really do want to see. Just feels a little clunky that I'm not doing anything till like turn 3, but I don't know. We just played against a Bring to Shift deck and we just didn't have enough disruption. So maybe this time it'll work. But yeah, hopefully everybody that wanted to participate, Jade, has done so. And if they haven't done it yet, I hope you do it tomorrow. Because I mean, if you miss the window on that, I mean, you just missed the chance to win a free card order account, loan account. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. Oh, this is not good. This is probably going to be the Artifact War of Invention deck. Control. It could be Slot Machine. I don't think Slot Machine main deck's Welding Jar, though. Yeah, Bobble suggests that it's the control deck. They do. They do. They just released it. Yep. It just came out. Could have played the Dragon Skull there, actually. Joke's on you. That's not the way I'm killing. Oh, nice. We drew a loam. So that's good. Yeah, it's a loan program. This might be the link. Try that. Yeah. Yeah, flexible, transparent, simple. I do like that there's no time limit on how long you can borrow the cards. Because, like, if you just need the loan program to play that deck that you really want to own online, boom, there you go. Weekly subscription is 3% of the loan amount. So, if you want to get even more precise, if you know ballpark how many tickets you need to play the deck that you want to play on there, you know. So, I mean, 200 tickets would be $6 a week. Let's say you know you're playing Legacy, you need more like 400 tickets, that'd be $12 a week. And I mean, if you're playing Moto, you're already spending about this much per event, you know. But anyway, yeah. So imagine this is like main deck Witchbane, make me sad. Gosh, we were getting some pretty terrible matchups for our deck, aren't we? Pretty terrible matchups, it seems. This is a matchup where we want a lot of these kinds of tools. Do we think that they're going to go after our graveyard? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, Brutality grabs A little bit of removal. I think the grudges are great. I mean, the grudges might be so good that I don't even want the pulse in the trophy. Could cut like a vortex. I mean, this is just mana fixing. Trying to think what else I could justify cutting. I think the Burning Vengeance honestly shouldn't be a 4-of, to be perfectly honest. That might have just been a mistake on the original deck builder's part. Which is fine. I mean, like, that stuff, that's the funny thing about, you know, decks is, like, sometimes that gets carried over. I'll keep this on the back of the Faithful Suiting. You know, like, somebody, like, the original deck builder makes a mistake, but they spike a tournament anyway, and then everybody else copycats some of the mistakes in the deck. You know, like, maybe the mana base wasn't correct or this or that, and then that's not something that gets fixed until a much later date, which is always funny to me. So we're going to looting here. We're going to dump this and... Actually, no, I'm going to keep the grudge. We'll dump double seismic. So hopefully we don't get stuck on one land. Now I'm kind of worried. I mean, we are a 24 land deck. Yeah, this matchup does seem like not so great for us, huh? Like, we thought that Bring to Shift matchup was bad. This might even be worse. Whew, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Just for mana efficiency. Well, actually, Spectacle says if lost life, so we might actually want to hold off on this. Just, like, maybe we get to grudge something. But I was going to say, like, we want to trigger the light up the stage. We just need another another black or red source here. Jade says, actually, that's expensive. Who do you use? Just out of curiosity. Oh, yeah, we can just get rid of the spyglass. I like how they have the discipline to still name spyglass even though I dumped 2 seismics. I like that discipline. Okay, nice. So we get to do the play I was proposing. I mean, it seems like he wants to surgical the seismic that's in my hand, potentially. I think it's still correct for me to dump the Vengeance, though. So this will give us the... nice, okay, so we can just take the Whir. So now we can Spectacle this. So that's going to give me Burning Vengeance to cast next turn. Okay. Nice Puddin' Stars. Yeah, maybe that'll win. That sounds interesting. Bring to Kiki. Sounds kind of cool. Now, if you're playing Bring to Kiki, that means you're 5-color. Right? You can have your Ensnaring Bridge. So if we don't see a land, we're not going to be able to cast the Exile, Burning Vengeance, and the Raven's Crime, unfortunately. If we do see land, we can do that. Wow, that's all 4 seismics. So what do we want more? Do we want to have access to this Raven's Crime more, or do we want to... Hand is Stirrings. Hand is Tezzeret, Stirrings, 2 unknown. Could field and still cast something. Like, I could field for the... could field for basic swamp, but that doesn't help me cast the seismics. Like, really, we want to do this for a mountain. I think I'll just cast the Vengeance. It might be correct for me to do Raven's Crime, but I'm gonna go with Vengeance. This is going to be exiled for good. Opponent making me wish I'd kept the Raven's Crime instead of the Vengeance. There's Flame. I'm just looking for potentially land drop this turn. No sideboard? Isn't that something you could develop though between today and... Okay, let's keep the trophy because Tezzeret. Let's dump these two. Yeah, man, I mean, you have time to add a sideboard to it, Puddin'. I don't want you to shoot yourself in the foot for winning the contest potentially just because you didn't add a sideboard. I'm not saying that I would grade heavily on that, but like it's like that shows me, you know, couldn't you have spent the time to finish the list? Explosives. Now, if we had a life from the loam, it'd be easy. Okay, well no, we wouldn't because of the field. We're not able to do all the things. We can't get Seismic into play and also the trophy. But I mean, using the Burning Vengeance, like I technically could kill the Tezzeret. I could technically kill Tezzeret here and hold this trophy. Would be better. That would be better, actually. Unless I just don't think that I'm going to need green after that. That was silly of me. I don't know why I thought that was going to work, chat. For some reason, I was thinking I was going to be able to flashback the Grudge and also pitch the Firelit to the Seismic, so now I'm just giving him another turn with Tezzeret like an idiot. We should have just trophied the Tezzeret and passed the turn. Here. It's the social media command. There's the Twitter and the Facebook. That's where I prefer you do it. I mean, if you're too shy to put it there, maybe you could put it on the Discord. I may not remember to look at the Discord for the day of the contest. Like, I told you guys, Facebook and Discord. Facebook and Twitter. So that's where I'm going to be looking for the lists. Gosh, it's so stupid of me to think that I was going to get to. I don't know why I was sitting there thinking that I could kill the Tezzeret with the Seismic and the Vengeance. I mean, I do want to force the opponent to pop the Tormod script before we start loaming. Obviously, he could just spend the Welding Jar protecting it. It's going to be Engineered Explosives. Yep. So you can't plop the explosives yet. free 2 damage here. Alright, so opponent's putting a regeneration shield on the ensnaring bridge because they plan to pop the explosives. Shoot him for 4. Alright. I mean, it makes sense for him to keep his ensnaring bridge. I do have a Raging Ravine. So it does make sense for them to do that. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, there's no reason for you guys. See, I'm glad that I streamed a little bit tonight, even if it's not a long stream, just so you guys, I could kind of coax some of you last minute contestants into doing it. Because I'd like to have a lot of decks to look at. You know, if like there's only like 10 submissions, and I'm picking 3 of the 10, there's not enough competition there, you know. It's another Tezzeret. See, this is where I really wish my mana... I mean, the Field of Ruin has been the story of the year. I mean, I really should field the Inventor's Fair. To be fair. I really should do that. Chalice set to 0. Interesting. Yeah, so we'll field this. I'm sure the opponent appreciates me making them dump their hand. But we get the Bottle Cloister after all. But the problem is the opponent's got Tezzeret with some bridges, and I don't have a recurring form of damage. I don't even have a looting. Or I don't even have... I mean, looting would be bad at this point. But, because I don't have another card to pitch to it. We're in trouble, chat. I think we're going to die to the Tezzeret. Think we're going to die. Like, we don't have any of our engines. Just a bunch of lands. Something big and scary. It's like a whir for something huge. I felt outgunned both times. Why did we pick the land stack over Slot Machine? I'm just kidding. I do think that Slot Machine could have beaten at least our first round opponent. I don't know about this opponent. The War of Invention style. I much prefer this to like Lantern. If I were to play like an artifact control deck. Definitely into this versus that. Could I beat a Chalice for 3? I mean, I'd have to... So how would we get back into this? First, I would top deck... first I would have to top deck an answer to Tezzeret. That would be step 1. But I think we're dead next turn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we're just dead next turn. Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, I should have gone with your pick, Nick. I know, Slot Machine. But we're dead next turn. He just Tezzeret ultimates. Mismatched Chalice. Opponent. You're a madman. See, that's the real benefit of having a subscription service to rent from, is you could have Matching art. I mean, why didn't you just kill us anyway, man? I mean, he's literally potentially giving me a turn to kill the Tezzeret. That gets countered. Well, the problem is this Maelstrom Pulse, right? We already spent the Assassin's Trophy. Oh. But that's too bad. That's okay though. This is just a friendly, so I mean we'll play it out. We might as well. I do need to go to bed relatively early though tonight. We might only do half of this league because I do have to wake up very early tomorrow. I have to be up before 7. I got to be up. Ideally, I mean I've set my alarm clock for 6. Ideally, I'm up and about 6:30. Hop in the car. I'm on the road 7. That's my plan. I'm just saying it gives you a better chance to win, Puddin'. That's all. I'm just giving you helpful tips, my man. I don't know why you got to give me lip. Ruben Bressler likes my page. That's great. I think that this list had some potential. Just the pieces didn't come together. And I think that this deck really, really wants to play against a lot of the fair decks in the format, or the critter decks. We technically played against neither. We played against, you know, Bring to Escape Shift combo and, well, combo. But no, we played, that's the real lands deck of the format, right? Valakut, that's the real lands deck of this format. But, yeah. Like, neither of those really fall into that category, I would say. Right? They're trying to operate on a completely different axis than your average modern deck. However, when I saw this deck debuted, when I saw it on YouTube, when it was just red, green, no black splash, I saw the poor guy that had, you know, was playing the deck. He got paired against burn deck after burn deck after burn deck. So, in my clever thinking, I thought that the Raven's Crime, I thought that the Collective Brutality would be perfect technology, right? Nope. But anyway. So, yeah, maybe we should have gone with Slap Machine. I do like that the grinding station has those multiple uses. Right, so the grinding stations. The fact that it's your win condition, but it's also an enabler. Like, you use it on yourself. Yeah. Fair enough, Puddin'. Fair enough. So what's cool about grinding station, I noted from watching the deck operate, is that you mill yourself to find the retrievers that you need, which I think is fascinating. I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's see if we can actually win a match. And I think this might be the last match of the night. So again, if you haven't submitted your deck for the BrewOff, you're doing yourself, like I said, not to be a broken record, but you're doing yourself a disservice. Guy should have kept the first hand. Guess I should have kept the first hand, because this hand does nothing. Alright, I'll keep a 5. I mean, it just didn't seem like it was going to do enough. You know, I don't think anybody in the chat would necessarily fault me for thinking so, right? I mean, our opener it was a bunch of lands. I mean, like, technically, this 5 is just as good or bad as our 7 was. Our 7 was like one of the enchantments and then a bunch of nothing. So we'll dump this Flame Jab and we'll dump a Catacombs. Yeah, it was just as much of nothing. So, bobble. Well, I hope I have more than 10 decks to look through for the contest. That would make me happy. Looks like Death Shadow. Oh, there goes the brutality. I mean, that turn 1 Inquisition makes me really appreciate that I didn't keep the previous hand. Another brutality. If we wanted, we could take their things. We could take the thing. Fine, just taking a spell. So we'll take a stubby. We don't want them interacting and stuff, you know. None of that. Yeah, me too, Jay. That's definitely, from my perspective, that's the fun, because I could, theoretically play some of those lists. There's Loam. Kind of just want to flashback this Faithless Looting. I think Stomping Ground's correct. That gives us triple red. Also gets us into green. That's really the thing about a Seismic Assault deck right now, Modern, is the mana just feels horrendous. Speaking of Seismic Assault. Dump those, keep our engine. Now, obviously, Shadow, much, much bigger than we could possibly... Well, Seismic plus Loam with 3 lands? Yeah, 3 lands. Seismic plus Loam with 3 lands, I mean, I should be able to shotgun down most Shadows. No. Oh, but we knew about the Inquisition. That was silly of me to think I was going to get to keep that. So should I be loaming next turn? Probably not, right, chat? We probably need to naturally draw a little bit now. Yeah, I think we even knew about the Inquisition, didn't we? That sucks. Oh, if he's just putting Shadow in here, we can kind of get him. So I do loam here because he just did that. And he's letting us Flame Jab the Death Shadow. Opponent has no respect for the Flame Jab. And we did hit a looting too. I mean, that's the nice thing about like loaming is sometimes you get lucky like that. No respect for the Flame Jab, guys. I mean, I guess he's got a Street Wraith? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what he has. Street Wraith? Ah, okay. Alright, opponent. Alright. You got me. I mean, there's no realm where we don't go for it, right? Like, 9 times out of 10, we're still going to go for that play. Looks like Delph Threat. Do we know what his hand is? I don't think we know what his hand is at this point, right? So we saw the looting. Yeah, I mean, we still go for that. It's not like we wasted our turn or anything. Like, there wasn't something else I could have done. Could have, use my words, could have been doing there. So we do loam again, right? I guess we don't now. Light up the stage. So if we jab, we get to light. Now here's the problem with this play. If I was to flashback looting, I don't get any choices, right? This is probably a mistake. Unless I'm loaming instead. So we hit another looting that way. Like if I didn't do the double loam there, I think that would have been a complete waste. But opponent is killing us here. So they're dismembering. They have a huge shadow, and we're dead. All right. So let's see if we can do anything post-board. So Grixis Shadow actually does care about losing their graveyard more than you'd think. They're going to go after our graveyard. I think Assassin's Trophy is... We didn't show any blockers, which makes me think that they might not be ready for a mom and pop. I think that Maelstrom Pulse is a little slow. They don't care about Raven's Crime much at all. But, I mean, maybe they care less about Flame Jab, though. It's not like they're a small creature deck. I think that the build actually is wrong. We talked about this earlier. I think that Burning Vengeance is fine in the deck. I don't think that it's a play set. But those are really bad in this matchup anyway. So we could swap these for like Mom Pop Thopter Shops. We could swap one of them for a Pulse. I mean, I don't think Pulse is awful in the matchup. I just don't think it's great, you know. So maybe 3 Burning Vengeances. Gravestone because they'll be playing Surgical, trying to grab our life from the Loams. I think this is fine. Again, if we wanted some P-ing Kirans, just because they might cut their Battle Rages just because they didn't see any blockers at all. These could be very good. This buys us, 3 turns worth of blocking, each of them. Maybe that's better. I get why the Vengeance is here, because the Vengeance is here for while you're going off to... It works with these engines, but I also don't think we should go 0 jabs, but I'm just not that impressed with it. Let's try that configuration. So this has a sideboard card, but no Leyline, but I probably keep it. I mean, Leyline's fine in the matchup. It's nothing spectacular. So we'll dump Raven's Crime, and we'll dump Canyon. It'd be nice if we could get one match with this deck. Otherwise, maybe this one's hitting the shelf. Oh, no turn 1 hand hate? That's surprising. That is surprising. Could be a stubborn denial. Alright, so now graveyard's safe. This also turns off my opponent's Snapcaster Mages all in one card. Just kind of neat. I think this card is criminally underrated in some of these decks that really need their graveyard to work, to not be touched. I think this should actually be showing up in more modern sideboards than it is. Obviously, this doesn't stop Leyline. You'd have to have a different card to answer Leyline. But I do think this is neat. Like turning off, doing 2 things for us at once, right? Turning off an opposing Snapcaster Mage, but also on our side protecting us from Surgical Extraction is kind of nice. That it's got that duality. We'll see what the opponent takes here. I think no matter what they take, I'm probably just going land, flashback, Faithless Looting. Takes the Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. I mean, I'd rather, instead of just flashback looting next turn, I think I'd rather just deploy the Burning Vengeance. We just do another looting. I think I just want to deploy Vengeance. I think that's fine. We're just kind of looting a bunch now. So 1, 2, 3. So we dump both of these and then loam, I imagine. Oh yeah. Sorry, that is a bit of a non-bow. I forgot. That's a reason not to play Gravestone. I was excited about this card when I was building the list originally. I think it makes more sense here. So the problem, I did forget about that. That's truth. Loam does need to target. That's okay. It's a little embarrassing to find out that way, but we can scratch it from the build. I forgot when I was building it. I was excited that it does those things. And I think, well, actually this would stop the, you think about it from the perspective of the other deck too. What would it stop here? This does say target as well. So as excited as I was for that card, it would actually stop both. So that is embarrassing. I think without loam working here, this isn't going to work the way I want it to. That's always painful to find out that way, isn't it, chat? But it's okay. We'll have to find a different sideboard card for... We could just play... Oh, we're very dead. This is one of those situations where it almost didn't matter that I had a bit of a non-bow here. With the fetch in play, there's no way we're killing the shadows. Yeah, I think Grafdiggers is a good idea. It's a clever idea. It also stops Collect the Company. I don't know if we need it. We've got all these ley lines. But this could go in the artifact deck. Oh, we've got Tormod's Crypts already. I mean, I kind of would like a split. This one I would probably just play, like add like another copy of Trophy and Pulse actually, just to make sure we can. So I guess the way that we would fight Surgical would just be the brutalities, and the way that we would fight opposing ley lines or whatnot would be through the pulse, through the pulses and through the trophies. Yeah, it's always embarrassing to find it out that way, Chad. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but it's okay. It's one of the beautiful, sad things about playing brews, innovating, is you'll sometimes make something bad. I like the idea of graph diggers here, like one of, and then we have room for like something else. I don't know what. So at least we don't get to queue with the Yeah, we're dead here. What's our next few draws going to be? I mean, my thoughts are the lands deck just doesn't have enough teeth. It seems fragile. I think it's a cool concept, but I also got to wake up early tomorrow, so I think we're done here. But we'll make some changes to the slot machine. I think in the same way that the lands deck doesn't want Silent Gravestone, I think this deck wouldn't support it either. I don't know what the last card should be. Should it be another engineered explosives? I don't know. Lands without Swan. Yeah. Yeah, Seismic Swans was definitely a stronger. I don't know. I saw it. I thought the deck was cool. I wanted to play it. That's what I get for going with, somebody else's jank. It's much better to make your own jank, and we sometimes have minor success with it. So, thoughts on the slot machine deck? What could be the last card? I mean, I think I'm happy with these alternate win cons. I saw that the deck kind of struggles a little bit with burns, so that's why I added the spell skites. Couple of songs, couple of nature's claims, couple of grids. Another Tormod Scripters, 2 main deck, a welding jar. I could see extra welding jars. I think our deck is going to be really weak to the opponent. Just like I'd like to have multiple ways to protect the anvil, like the anvil and the keys. I think that between Spellskite and some welding jars, we could do a good job protecting the combo. Yeah, it's always fun to make your own jank. Maybe you should play Talaria West. Blue might be hard for us. Talaria West would find Crypt and Explosives. By the way, I do think that the deck is like not running enough lands, by the way. I could get behind a Talaria West. Talaria, like I said just now, finds Explosives, it finds Crypt, it finds Buried Ruin, Inventor's Fair. Yeah, maybe Talaria West is neat. I have no idea. I just know that the deck is a little low on lands. That is something I have noticed. It's a blue source. So this lets us move one of these to the sideboard. Move something from the main to the side. I mean, again, like I think Sai is a little bit better after board just because game 1 this guy's going to get toast. Post board they might have a little bit less creature removal just to squeeze in their artifact hate, and then that's when we bring in some of these bad boys. Planeswalkers, enchantments, creatures. Like this is when this card, in my opinion, probably shines more, is out of the board. So maybe something more like this. Yeah, I think when I saw the original build, I thought that 18 land was a little bit too low in my opinion as well. I mean, like sure you got the Moxen, but it's still only 23 cards devoted to mana. It is like eggs. So this is off of Canister MTG for those of you that know him or don't. And I kind of tweaked the list and I cut some of what I thought was cute. And I added Cloud Keys just so that the deck has a little bit, in my opinion, more consistency. This is the spells you cast of the chosen type cost less, so you name artifact. So the first key is going to unlock this part of the deck, all the Terrarians, all the stars, the Pirate Spellbombs. Now, once you cast the second key, then it kind of acts like a semblance anvil. Does that make sense? All right, Embellic, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you. Yeah, so I mean, I could grab these cards and we could jam like a quick game with the deck. But it is almost midnight, so let's make it quick. Here, I'll grab the missing cards and we'll try. So we need a trophy, we need a Maelstrom Pulse, that's for the other deck, and then we need, because I haven't necessarily given up on the lands deck. Sure, that went really, really poorly against a variety of decks. That tells me that the deck probably doesn't have a place in Modern, but let's add Cage. Let's grab a Talaria West. I like that idea. I like that the West has quite a few targets. Makes me happier about the random welding jar in the sideboard. Talaria West is kind of expensive at the moment. Interesting. Do I have enough points to play this? Oh, what did I just cut? Graph Diggers. I don't have enough. I have one play point. But this deck looks sweet. I mean, it's always fun to see 4-color decks, right? Opal. What? Cloud Key? Yeah, Cloud Key's always been kind of neat. There's always been potential for a card like this, but obviously Semblance Anvil, despite being card disadvantage, is still a much more efficient way to get the reduction, right? You need 2 reduction. You know, kind of like Heartless Summoning combo. We want to be able to loop the Mirror Retrievers. Now this is probably a nightmare to play on Magic Online. You know, just putting that out there. Probably not very fun to play on Magic Online. Let's just jump in and play just for the fun of it kind of situation. Just because I am going to bed soon, so it'd be nice if we can just kind of drop out. Gosh, we haven't played in the open tournament room in a long time on this show. We've been doing almost exclusively leagues and queues, which is, I mean, that's nice, but it's not like just, you know, it's not like we're too privileged or anything weird like that to not, you know, jam in the filthy casual room. I'm kidding, they're not filthy. You guys know I'm just joking. I hope you know I'm joking. I mean, I guess if you're new to my show, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know any better. But yes, this is not a keep. And see, that's my problem with the deck only having so many lands. This is a snap keep. This hand is beautiful. It's not going to cast the Ancient Stirrings turn 1, but that's okay. Glimmer Void, bottom. And guess what? Cloud Key pitches to Semblance Anvil. Crazy, right? No, don't take my things! Oh, okay, he's playing the Eldrazi deck. We have time. Oh, well, now we just draw Botanical Sanctum because we're like a boss. So we don't have to take any damage on this Ancient Stirrings. See, I thought this was the right land for this. I saw Canister didn't have that in the build. I'm not trying to accuse him of being wrong there or anything weird like that. Not sure what you're supposed to take. I guess you take the Crypt just because you want cheap artifacts to kind of slap into play. Or something to just exile the Anvil. Yeah, right? Well, the deck is mainly green-blue, so I thought these would be good for the mana base. I just added a couple of Sanctums. I think 2 to 3 Spire of Industry is fine because you do want black and you do want red. Like black gives us Tezzeret post board, red gives us the Aether Grids. Like I think it's fine. I don't think you want too many Sanctums. Like I think you do want some, you know, these being like the weaker Glimmer Void. Leonin Arbiter. Okay. See, I mean, if Semblance is going to enter play, we probably won't need a key. Unless we want artifacts to be even cheaper, which theoretically, if artifact, let's see, yeah, I guess the key actually is relevant because then we can cast other keys and anvils and trawlers. Interesting. Okay, we'll exile the Crypt then. So actually putting key into play after anvil's in play, that like lets Scrap Traveler, like this part of the deck actually becomes free. That's interesting. I actually really like the idea of key. It is just black-white taxes, yeah. Eldrazi and taxes. Well, maybe it's not Eldrazi and taxes. It might. I mean, usually these decks have the Eldrazi splashed in there. Usually. Caves. Yeah, I mean, that would suggest there's Eldrazi. Confidant. Interesting. We have not found any eggs, though, chat. So, we're in trouble. Hey, trawler. Oh, he's going to take my scrap trawler. Well, we don't have a sacrifice engine. And that's one of my critiques to the deck is that it... Oh, he takes scrap trawler? Maybe he has creature removal for this. I don't really want to put this into play if he's just going to kill it. I mean, granted, he might have another Sculler or Thoughtseize. I mean, Thoughtseize. A Thought-Knot Seer, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to just let him... I mean, sure, it's maybe more likely that he just gets the Sculler. It's very possible his hand's a path, right, if you're not taking Scrap Trawler. Like, I don't really want to put this guy into play till we have a sacrifice engine. Now, maybe that's why Canister added the Thopter Sword combo to the deck, just because he noticed that about the deck, that when it doesn't have a sacrifice engine, it does pretty poorly. So there's explosives. I could use explosives to blow up the Wellspring. Oh, I didn't need to tap there, by the way, because of Semblance. Oops, my bad. So we get explosives. Hey, explosives is pretty nuts here. And we theoretically should put the trawler into play. Or, well, I don't have enough mana to do all that. So we'll just pop this. Oh no, I did have enough mana. I should have done it. The Flicker Wisp here. Flicker the Confidant. Okay. But yeah, I probably should have put the trawler into play, actually. I didn't think I could get away with that. I kind of wish I had now. Because, I mean, him taking the Cloud Key kind of made me... It suggested that... It suggested that was the case. So we'll say Artifact... So now Trawler is free, but we still don't have a sacrifice engine. I mean, again, maybe that's why Canister was adding the Thopter Sword combo, is just to have another sacrifice engine. The problem is that one costs mana, whereas Station doesn't. Play Key, then Trawler. I don't know if I want to play the Trawler. I guess if I play Trawler, at least it could block the Confidant. What he should really flicker is my Semblance Anvil. Yep. Yep. I think it is going to get another trigger of Imprint. Is it not? Yeah, maybe I should just not worry if he has a path, right? Still put the Trawler in, because this is going to be a lot of damage. This is 8. I go to 3. I basically have to draw the Grind Station or I die. So I wish I put... Yeah, I wish I'd put the Trawler into play. Ooh, Thalia too. I think we're dead. Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, so it looks like we need more sacrifice engines. Okay, Stirrings, we get a look. Gotta pay the extra. Didn't get there. Right, I mean, if we take Inventor's Fair, I don't have enough mana to go search. Retriever, I can't kill the Retriever to go get the explosives. So that's really too bad, chat. We were close. Now, if I had put the trawler into play, we would have had the explosives, and I'm curious how far away the grinding station was. And that worries me about the deck from a fundamental perspective. Like, sure, I found a way to add extra copies of reducers, right? That was easy. In addition to the anvils, I've added keys to this list. These are great in this matchup. The problem, I assume opponent's going to have, like, Stony, right? And he's like a madman. He's going to play Stony despite the non-bow with Aether Vial. I wouldn't put my opponent past that. We don't need crypts. So, but it looks like the deck doesn't do anything unless you find Grinding Station. Now, the same could be said for what? The same could be said for Krark-Clan Ironworks. Krark-Clan Ironworks was broken in half because it gave you a sacrifice engine and it also gave you the mana to play the deck all in one card. This is kind of like distributed the role into two different cards, that's not good. So from just looking at this from a deck builder's perspective, which I certainly hope you guys know I like to give you guys. Yes, it's much worse, but it's still technically functional. I think I need to reevaluate the number of different things. I think this would be maybe an Antiquities War match, maybe even Sai. And we could cut the, we could trim some number of Cloud Keys. I'm actually not as excited about Trawler. I don't even know if this deck really needs Trawler, because like once you get the loop, once you're doing the retrieving, like we could try cutting a couple of keys. No, I think the Sai is overkill. Let's cut the Trawlers. I don't think the deck even really needs them. And maybe that's where we fit in another sacrifice engine. That doesn't quite work because Isochron says instant. I'll cut a key. I'm okay cutting one key. Because like if you don't draw Semblance Anvil, you're going to need to play 2 keys to get the loop off. This hand seems fine to me. But yeah, it's always a little bit disappointing, chat. You know? Like, we had everything we needed except for that one piece. Now, we also hadn't seen a single We hadn't seen a single retriever, so we would have needed to find 2 retrievers. Like, just because I'm saying, oh, all we needed there was Grinding Station, that doesn't mean that's true. Like, we needed to do more than just find Grinding Station. We needed to also find 2 retrievers. And the thing of it is if one of the retrievers is what? In the graveyard. I mean, like, maybe that's why Canister added the scrap trawlers, because you need to be able to get the retriever back. I mean, maybe that's why it's a 3-2 split. That makes sense. So maybe that's really bad of me to cut. Oh, excuse me, cut the cut any trawlers. So maybe that is the sweet spot. But I would like the deck to have another. I mean, is there another sacrifice engine that's that efficient and modern that's not KCI and it's not Grinding Station? What are the other stations? I just don't think any of the other stations untap like Grinding Station does. There's Summoning Station, which is a ton. Whenever a creature dies, you may untap. Yeah, these are just so much more expensive. What about Blasting Station? Creatures entering the battlefield, you can untap. So this gives us the ability to keep sacrificing the retriever. I mean, technically Blasting Station works, doesn't it? Maybe we should look into one of these other stations. I mean, I guess the first Blasting Station would work with retriever, right? You keep sacrificing the retriever. I just don't think the other stations would work. Summoning and maybe salvaging is just a lot of mana. I think Blasting Station would be worth considering, like a one-of, just to have another way to sacrifice the retriever over and over again. Tron lands with stations. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, artifact put into graveyard. This is unfortunately creature entering the battlefield, and this is unfortunately creature dies. But, I mean, Blasting Station would tap and untap with Retriever Loop. It just wouldn't be as good as Grinding Station, because Grinding Station we can mill ourselves a bunch to find the retrievers. Like, this would be weaker, obviously, but maybe there's room for it. And maybe we shouldn't have a playset of Key. Like, maybe Key really should just be a 3F, you know? I could get behind that, and we try the first station. I'm just worried that we're not always finding a sacrifice engine for the retriever with the way that the deck is constructed. Like, maybe it should be a 2-2 split of the key. Six sacrifice for retriever, 6 reducers. Obviously, with Semblance being the stronger one, but a couple of cloud keys. Oh, we got there. I forgot. That's true. If you're not playing in a league, your opponents aren't going to be patient. But we can add the Blasting Stations, because that's a big knock to the deck. Like, I understood, like I said, I saw Canister playing like Thopter combo. I don't think that's what you want to be doing, though. I think we should try Blasting Station, because the deck just doesn't work if we don't assemble something. Like, you need a way to kill your own retriever. So let's try Blasting Stations. Let's try a couple of them. I think we're onto something here, chat. Because it would be really frustrating to have all the mana in the world and the retrievers, like double retriever, and you just never find station. If you never find this piece, it doesn't do anything. So having additional copies of a sacrifice outlet would be nice. And like I said, I saw Canister trying Thopter Sword. I think, though, this would be better, because the problem with Thopter Sword is you have to pay for it still. That is true, Lord of Adam. I don't know if that facilitates the combo. Yeah, well, we've come a long way already from where the lists were. Alright, I got maybe one more game in me, guys. Hopefully the Blasting Stations are what the deck was missing. But that's the thing, is like, you know, Krark-Clan, like I said, was nuts because it was both the sacrifice engine that the deck needed, and it was also at the same time the mana production. Whereas here we've kind of split the roles into Key and Anvil for mana, and then of course the stations are what's giving us. Is that the person we just played? I'm not sure. I don't think it was. Oh. Finally got a game. There are like 2 that I got passed over on. Oh, Ravager as a sack engine. I'm with you. Oh, okay. And maybe Ravager is the better sack engine. Can't keep this. My problem with Ravager is that it's a critter. That's again my whole issue with the scrap trawlers in the first place, because they're a little bit vulnerable. But we'll keep here. Let's bottom. Actually, maybe I'm not supposed to bottom that, because that technically equals what we're going to be missing. And maybe I'm supposed to lead out on Talaria West. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't bottom the Inventor's Fair, because Inventor's Fair could equal a Semblance Anvil. That's maybe a mistake. What about Phyrexia's Core? You only get to use it once, though. No, I like that you're doing the research. What about Metalwork Colossus as a sack engine? Hmm. Oh, Metalwork Colossus just because he's going to be cheap and just put him into play. I mean, Greater Gargadon is a sacrifice engine. Like, maybe Greater Gargadon is better than... The problem with Greater Gargadon is you could only do it so many times, and then at the end of, like, you know, several... oh, okay. Yeah, I'm really sad I didn't lead Talaria West. So I'm not going to get the Pyrite Spellbomb. This was... Actually, I should have done this first, because... Okay, wow, we just drew Anvil. So we're off to the races next turn if we draw land. I shouldn't have bottomed a land. I know that our deck doesn't have very many land drops. So, like, why bottom land there as I did? That was kind of foolish. Oh yeah, Colossus is indeed a sacrifice engine. Alright, draw us a land because you're the Goblin Guide. Please. Like, we're hoping this is land. If it's not land, we're hoping that it is... Oh. Or we just accidentally pass the turn. That's sad. I hit the wrong hotkey. We could have won that, though. Like, I think I shouldn't have bottomed... Especially since it was an Inventor's Fair. Like, if it's a generic land, right? Let's say it's a generic land. I think it's fine to maybe bottom it there, but we're a 19 land deck, even with the addition of the Talaria West. These get cut. These come in. I like Claim because these hit both Eidolon, and we can also hit something to just gain some life. I don't think I want anything else. I mean, sure, Swan Song exchanging with a burn spell or also countering Eidolon might be relevant. I mean, we lose to Eidolon hard. So maybe post board we cut a key. I don't know, key in a station. Key station. We just don't have enough room to bring in all these different things. I think we'll have to make some decisions with what we actually run. I mean, I think fundamentally the Swan Song might just be better. Well, they have to be proactive, though, and we're going to be kind of doing our thing. I think the Nature's Claim and the Spell Skites are what we need. Put the Cloud Key back in. I think I'm fine cutting Blasting Station down to a 1-of, but I don't think we want to cut any of the reducers. Yeah, we could have won that if I just kept that land on top. So this hand looks fine. Keep. We'll play West. That's 2 Retrievers. Just need a reducer. Well, no. we need a reducer and we need a sacrifice engine. I mean, it just feels like so many pieces. It feels like so many pieces to bring together. You know? Like with KCI, it was just everything was in one package, and then if you know, for the deck to go into the infinite loop, you found Trawler. With this one, it's like it's got retrievers in it. There's some people that are testing Thopter Sword in it, which I mean I think that's awesome. I think Thopter Sword's really cool. But that being said, alright, so let's play West, because next turn we could use the West to tap for Terrarian, and then we can Glimmer Void for the Stirrings. Trying to find these things I'm talking about. Yeah, we need a reducer. We need a sacrifice engine, all before our opponent lays down Eidolon, of course. Oh, there's Semblance. So Terrarian. I mean, maybe I'm just looking for land with this Stirring. Stirring's so flexible, I could just go grab a land. Like, especially since none of these are... Yeah. Now, what I'm worried about is I don't want to exile Retriever with the Semblance. Ever. If I can help it. Let's just grab the Inventor's Fair. If I can help it, I really don't want to do that. Maybe I should have taken Key for that reason. I mean, maybe I should have just taken any artifact, actually, because I really don't want to exile a Retriever. What about Sai? I'm playing a Sai in the sideboard. I think Sai's fine. I'm not I'm not really that excited about having the main board. I've seen some people do that. I'm not trying to say that they're wrong. That's just weird. I like Vexing Devil, I guess. It's an interesting card for sure. Trawler. Okay, so we could exile. We could exile the Trawler to the Semblance. Well, see that's the other weird thing, chat. Is I kind of want the Trawler, don't we? You know what though? We don't have a sacrifice engine anyway. Right? What's up, Riptorius? Would I what? So just block here. Looks like Eidolon to me. That's unfortunate. And we still didn't find all the things that we need. Right, chat? Like we still need to find... Just thinking out loud. Like, this would have to find engineered explosives. Right? It didn't. But we're dead. It's okay. It's not like I had mana open there, like if we had like a swan song in our hand. It's okay. So I think it's closer now. What's going on, Moto? There we go. I think it's closer, but it still feels so far away, you know? So I guess now I understand why Canister was trying something as clunky as Thopter Sword. I'm not trying to knock it, like now that I see that the deck just needs another engine, you know? I mean, I guess the benefit of Thopter Sword is you get another sacrifice engine that's kind of sort of doing things. Like, this hand seems great. It's got Station and Anvil. Like, where has this been all my life? Keep. We just can't seem to get a hand like this. If the Crypt is irrelevant in the matchup, that's what we'll pitch to the Anvil. Like, look at this hand. This is potentially really awesome. I mean, obviously, we might not find the third land because we're a 19 land deck, but... Hey, what's up, Goblin Guy? Not really. It's going to be about the same. Inquisition? No. Well, joke's on you. Both the Grinding Station and the Semblance Anvil are really important. He'll take Anvil here, though. Just because it makes... On the surface, it's going to look like the scarier card. Spread the word about the Anvil decks. Opponent takes Tormod's Crypt. I'm with you. I'm with you. He really likes his graveyard working. Decided not to take any piece of Macambo. I'm okay with it. Hey, we did it. We've done it, chat. Don't take anything from me, opponent. Ah, all right. Well, if he leaves this grinding station, at least I get to crack these well springs. Takes grinding station. Crap. He knows. Opponent knows. He knows. He knows how important it is. I mean, I still kind of want a semblance. We exile the Terrarian. I mean, Wellspring, when we're going off, represents more draws than the Terrarian does. Like, Wellspring's actually so important to these decks. I don't know if you guys realize that. It is quite important. The reason to do this is we might hit a Mox. We did not. Oh, I meant to activate this first. That was a mistake, because technically couldn't I have gotten an activation, extra activation? I think I technically would have gotten an extra activation. Cloud Key. Mill myself. Can't cast anything else yet. That's okay. Yeah, I was supposed to activate the station and respond before the trigger went off and pop one of the well springs. It's okay. Looting. Grizzlebrand. Gorya's Vengeance. I don't know. Dreadbore.